Hey guys, back again. So now we're going to work inside the main. So let me just grab all the things I need and just paste them. Okay, just the imports. So let me make this bigger. So it's the use history, post service, map, and fragment, which fragment is already imported there. So that's the only things we need. Remember that we have RxJs, so we're going to use map from the operators and the post service and the use history hook. Okay, so line by line, I will try to explain all this. First, we set the post. We're going to handle the posts in the state. Okay, so we're going to grab the post that we received from the API, which right now is not running, but we're going to use this setter, okay, to set the posts that are coming or is coming or are coming inside the response of the API. Now we generate, or not generate, sorry, we use this constant history again with our hook, use history hook, and okay, so we will need use effect. So let me just grab this and say use state and use effect. So we're going to say use effect. This is a function inside, and okay, give me a second. Okay, so this is something you might not be accustomed to see here. So this is RxJS. So we're going to create this post subscription, which is going to allow us to unsubscribe from the stream that we are going to get. And we're going to make this function or variable. Sorry, it wasn't that. Okay. So the let underscore post is only a empty array. We're going to use that in a second. I'm going to grab now, which I pasted by accident before, the post subscription. Okay, it's going to be equals to this post service post. This is an observable which is coming from the service. Okay, so this is the response of the API. We're going to pipe the stream. So what we're going to do now is to get the data. Before we actually do something or display it or use it, we're going to change it, or well, yeah, you can say that. So we're going to modify a few things. Well, not modify, but actually loop through all the posts inside the response data. So this is going to be coming from the API, and we're going to push each post inside the underscore posts, and we're going to return that. So we're not going to return the response data by itself. We're going to return these posts, okay? And from there, we're going to use the subscribe. So let me just grab that. So this one is the pipe. Yeah, it's here. So we're going to use the subscribe. So so far, this is not going to do anything unless we subscribe, okay? And this underscore post is what we are returning here. So this is the array, and we can set that array now inside our state. Okay, so we will need here a cleaner function that is going to be this return post subscription is going to unsubscribe. So it's going to allow us to unsubscribe from the stream, so we don't have any memory leaks. Okay, so let's save that. This is not going to show anything yet, so I'm going to grab all the things that I have. So this is similar to something that we did already in the MERN stack tutorial. So if you don't get all what is going on here, just go to that tutorial and check it out. I explained that in more detail. Here is only because we're changing everything to use the hooks, but as I said, we're not going to use the update. So if you are interested in that, just go and check that playlist. So now this is just a header with an image which we don't have yet. So let me just remove that and save it. And we're going to loop through the posts. Remember that the posts are now the state which contains the post from the response data from the API. Okay, and we're going to loop, create a key using the ID, and just every time we click on this div, which is going to show the background image, okay, of the post cover. So we're going to run this to post, which we don't have, and we're going to pass the post ID into that. So let me just generate that, or type that. So it's to post equals. So this is going to take the post ID, and we're going to say so far console.log post ID, and let's save this so far. So I don't have my so let me just see. Okay, failed. You can see we failed the fetch. You can see that this is already changed. Why we failed the fetch? Because we don't have the API running. So git bash here npm run dev. I hope this doesn't take that long to run. Okay, so this one we built using TypeScript. So you have the tutorial in the channel of how to build this. Let's see if it actually starts, or allow me to use the current IP that I have. Okay, that is actually nice. Server running on port 4000. So you can see that inside our post service we're using that port, okay, because that is the API. So this is the main. Okay, so far so good. Again, if you don't understand what the hell is going on here, and also we are not using pagination, so the service is not complete. Okay, we don't have the update and we don't have the pagination. So go to that tutorial and see and check the changes you will need to do, because we handle that on that specific tutorial. So if I refresh, okay, and this is something that I actually wanted to show you. You can see below here that we are actually making a ton of requests, and this is because we are setting these posts inside the state, and every time we're mutating or we're changing the state is triggering again the use effect. So that is just how React works, and this is going to kill your server, so it's going to overload. And what we need to do in order to stop that is only to add this empty array. And you can see we have these images, and these are coming from the API. Okay, we only have two, and as I said before, the API is responding with sets of 3. So we will only see the first set of 3. Okay, because we're not going to handle pagination, and I didn't feel like changing the API only for that. So yeah, and we still haven't used the history, okay, in this case, so we will use that in a second. So we are receiving that. So just let me get, okay, I minimize that. Let me just get the CSS. I'm going to copy all this. I'm not sure if you care about the CSS, but I'm just going to paste it. Okay, everything. So if you want to get it, well, you can see, you can just pause the video and type it. Okay, but of course you will get the files. So this is only similar to what we built in the, and it only has a one meta query. It's similar to what we have, to the style it is inside the MERN application. So it's only to have this kind of looking good, you know. Okay, so we have that, and you can see that this is the cover and this is the div which has the on click to post. And if I go to console and okay, all this crap, if I click this, it's going to show me the ID because we're just consoling. Let me just close this. So the to post is getting the ID and we are only consoling that. Okay, and now we're going to use the history hook. So let me just go back there. So you can see that I'm not using a link here because I don't really need to use that. So we're going to say history and we're going to move using the history, that push. So we're going to push, let me just make this bigger. And we are going to use backticks. Okay, not there, but here. Okay. And we're going to redirect to the post and post ID. And we can pass, you can see we have push path, the string. Okay, so this is the path, and we can pass the state. We can pass something inside the state, and we are going to pass only the post ID. This is not required. Okay, we can just skip this. We can just set it like that. Of course, closing the method, but this is only to show you that you can do this. But you might be thinking, okay, so we're going to get the ID inside the post from the state. No, we're going to get it from the parameters, but this is only to show you that you can pass something here that could be important for your application instead of looking inside the server, or you know, again, if you receive that information here, then you're able to send it using the state. So let's save this. Okay, this is already refreshed. So if I click here, you can see that it adds the, or consoles the ID. You can see that it's different, of course, but we are not seeing anything here because this is going to post ID. And if I go to elements, right? Okay, this should only have the post works, but because the navigation is fixed, is hiding that message. So that's the only thing that is happening there. Okay, so far we have this. We're going to add the image later. So yeah, and we're going to grab this from the state and grab the, let me just move there again, and grab the ID using again another hook from the React Router DOM new version. So we're going to use the params, okay, from the URL and just make another call. Of course, we're making another call to the server. So the thing here, and it's something that well, you should already know this, but if you're using the state, you should pull everything from the state, okay? But we are just going to handle, as we have been doing before, making another request and just getting that. But just because it's easier and it's simpler, and you know, we always get the most recent stats. But if you are using the state, of course, you will want to set the posts, and if we have the post, we look inside the post for the post ID that we have here, and just return that from the state. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to get it from the API again, and that is how we're going to do it. Okay, so that is actually all for this video, I think. Okay, we have a new post again, but we're going to handle that last. And yeah, that's it for this video, and see you in the next one.